Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. We're doing the AFC South way too early preview with my friends Willie Walls and the great Swame. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for your service as always, and I hope you had a very good Memorial Day.
It was great.
Swame, yours good?
Oh, yeah, Doc. Got to have a little virtual barbecue.
It's amazing how we do virtual barbecues and stuff like that. Is it right? Wish I owned a little bit, just a little piece of Zoom. All right, guys, let's talk about the AFC South. Willie's eyes lit up. He's like, owning Zoom? Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Texans, the Houston Texans. Guys, I think there might be a little bit more here than people think. Davis Mills looked pretty good last year, especially towards the end of the year. They draft Dameon Pierce, who's really good pass blocker. Played very well at the University of Florida. They re-signed Brandon Cooks. They bring in John Mechie from Alabama. Maybe the Texans could be a 5-win team with Lovie Smith. Possible or impossible, Willie?
Maybe a 4-win team, but listen, honestly, Mills is not bad. Just think about what he was working with last year. I mean, Brandon Cooks, 134 targets, 90 catches. 1,037 yards and 6 TDs. Listen, not bad. Their running backs are, a bunch of milk in the running back position, but I'm just saying they drafted pretty well. I think they got this Derek Stingley. He has great movement. As a cornerback, he's going to be a good cornerback. He can play in any scheme. So they got somebody right there. Kenyon Green, he's an offensive lineman that can play any position. Kind of a reach, but he's one of those guys that might work out. So, and now the guy who could play is this guy named Jalen Petrie. He's very versatile. Could play linebacker or safety. So, they got some possibilities. I'm not going to.
Willie was dissing the running backs. They bring in Marlon Mack from Indianapolis. They draft Dameon Pierce. Is this a better backfield now than it was last year?
First of all, did you hear that used car salesman that was just speaking? Are you kidding me? He tried to sell you on these Texans. Let me do my best Walls impersonation. They are due. I don't even know what we're talking about here. You get rid of Watson, you lose Taylor. They didn't make any noise in free agency. Yeah, they did a couple of cute things in the draft. Doc, I don't even think 5 wins is possible if we added up the 4 they got last year. I don't know what we're looking at with the Texans right now. I get it. I like Lovie. We all like Lovie. But guess what? He needs talent. And he just doesn't have enough right now for me to be able to say that they're going to get 5 wins.
No, I'm going to say this. To be fair, they were very competitive last year. If you look back at some of those games, they lost a lot of close games. I'm telling you, this Mills
like NFL to me.
No, but this Mills guy, they're just saying I think he's more to it than what you're giving. Listen, I agree with you. It's hard for me to see him get 5 wins.
Thank you.
I disagree with both of you. I think they get 5 wins. I'm going to tell you why. I think Stingley is a game changer. Listen, this guy can cover anybody one-on-one. When you have a player like that, whether it's Sauce Gardner, Jair Alexander, Darius Slay, any one of those guys, it frees the rest of your defense up. It gets you some more pressure because you can put somebody in single coverage. That's not easy to do. Stingley covers Michael Pittman. Stingley covers Robert Woods. Stingley covers Christian Kirk. I think this guy is a lockdown corner. We will be saying by week 9, nobody wants to go against him.
Doc, they drafted a couple of nice corners this year, but here's the bad news. It's nobody to cover. So unless he's going to stand in front of King Henry, who we're going to talk about, or Jonathan Taylor, who we're going to talk about, I don't know what he's going to be able to do to have an impact in this division. There's nobody to cover.
I just think they get 5 wins. I think Davis Mills played pretty well. I think the running game is better. I think Mechie, did you guys watch Mechie play at Alabama? Dude was legit.
Yeah, I did. That's if he comes back from that injury that he had. You know, that's a big question mark. I got you.
You look, if the over-under is 4.5, I might consider going 5. I might. Just because you guys won't. All right.
That's a lot of wins, Doc.
All right, let's take a look at the other putrid team in this division, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I don't know if you guys did any reading about Urban Meyer.
Terrible.
Terrible. I mean, this guy was heinous. And I used to like Urban Meyer. I used to think he was one of the greatest college coaches I've ever seen. I mean, this guy won at Bowling Green. He won at Florida. He won at Utah. He won at Ohio State. He goes to the NFL. He's calling everybody a loser, everybody a jerk. He's threatening to firing everybody. The Jaguars, now let's start with a simple question. Is Trevor Lawrence worth rostering in a fantasy league next year, Willie? I think, listen, this team, hold on. Before you say that, this team right here, they have a couple of guys that might help win a fantasy championship. Hear me out. I'm talking about like the running back that ETN.
You know, remember Robinson tore his Achilles at the end of the season last year. This guy has talent. And remember, he set out the whole last year, and all they got to do is have somebody that's competent. That coach for them last year was an idiot. It started with the trainer. Remember, the trainer was racist. Right. You know, they had so much trouble at so many levels. This is a team where you might get some late round bargains, like the running back, like Kirk. What's the name? The quarterback could wake up and be a good quarterback because now he got somebody who knows football that's teaching them the right way. Remember, you got to erase everything that happened to them last year. And remember, as bad as they were, they still beat some good teams last year. Can I say the Buffalo Bills?
The Colts. They beat the Colts in the last week.
The Colts. So what I'm saying to you is this is a team where you might get different guys that can, in a late round, that can help you get a championship if they catch fire. I'm just saying they can't be worse than what they are last year. And then they got this guy named Walker. We know he's a big question mark, but also he has upside. So, what I'm saying to you, with a competent coach, this team has talent. They just got,
So, Swame, you may not agree, but I will tell you, I think the Jaguars may have one of the best young linebacking core in all of football. They have Josh Allen, Devin Lloyd, Olakun, and Walker. That's legit. That is legit. I don't care what anybody tells me. Those 4 guys can ball. So, look, if you can play a little defense and Trevor Lawrence may, get a little better, ETN's there now. Christian Kirk, you bring him in. Maybe they're on. Maybe they can win 6 games or 7 games, Swami.
I like their chances better than Houston. I agree with you. The defense, I like what they did. They brought in some pieces. I think through the draft, I think Walker is going to be exciting. I think he's going to add to what they were doing. If you remember in those games, the defense, especially against Buffalo, is what won the game. Almost one guy with the same name went in there and had a heck of a game, right? And so now you figure they brought in a bunch of pieces through free agent. Y'all already talked about Kirk. They brought in Zay Jones. They brought in Evan Ingram. They even got Marvin Jones coming back again. You could see them putting something on the field, especially if that defense is going to be able to get some stops or maybe even force some turnovers. It's just, is Lawrence going to be consistent? Is he going to take that next step? Is he going to help lead this team? He's got some pieces. They spent a lot of money on these pieces too. They better come to play. That's all I can tell you. And if Lawrence does what he is supposed to do, we didn't see a lot of flashes of what we saw in Clemson. If he come to play, I think the Jaguars could make a little bit of noise. I like their chances better than Houston for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, Lawrence is, to me, he's a guy that can go from Milky Way to where he was last year to. I'm telling you, this guy, because they're going to be trailing, probably in a lot of games. I just think that this team sneakily can have some nice fantasy value that we're not even looking at. And if this running back, very talented guy, this guy might be the one that you can get in the later rounds that can help win you a fantasy championship. So,
Willie, I don't think it's that late. I'm looking here right now in the NFFC. He's a 4th-round pick, Travis Etienne. And I think that's not an unfair pick in a PPR format.
It's more daily for me right now than 12-team people.
Yeah, but that's the NFC. These are guys that know. You talking about in regular home fantasy leagues, you could get these guys in the 7th and 8th round. Somebody like I understand what you're saying.
When you're playing high stakes, you're taking him. And actually, I tell you this, he will be a round 3 pick by the time people are in Las Vegas. He will be going at the end of round 3. Book it.
He's explosive, so I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
I know who he is.
So this team, I agree, especially defensively. I like what Jacksonville. Listen, they only can go up because their coach was the most idiotic coach. I thought Spurrier was bad when he went to the then Redskins.
Right.
This guy, what is it about Florida? What is it about Florida coaches
Easy. Don't crap on Florida.
They go nuts. I mean, they go nuts when they get to the NFL.
Can I tell you what happens? And this is true. These guys know how to recruit. Urban Meyer walks into somebody's room and they say, yes, I want to play with you because they know those teams are going to win. It doesn't work that way in the pros. When the 3rd string safety makes as much as the coach does, they don't listen to coaches the same way. It's different. Right? I mean, they're not kings. The Urban Meyer is a king in college. Steve Spurrier could have been the governor of Florida. It's just different.
But no matter what type of league you're playing in, high stakes, you could be in the Pee Wee, Junior, Bowling, Grandma League. It doesn't matter. I just don't think you can take players, no matter how good we're projecting them to be, from bad teams. Because the reality of it is they're not going to score enough points. They're not going to have enough production. So I don't care what league I'm in. This guy not going to be a 3rd-round pick. Nobody on this team is going to be a 3rd-round pick. I just can't do it.
Swame, I'm telling you this. So, and everybody out there, listen up. I'm just telling you what the high-stakes community is going to do. The high-stakes community is different than a home league. It's different. A home league, ETN, in my opinion, is probably around 6th pick.
Okay.
Yeah. In a high-stakes league, in a PPR league, somebody's going to look at the upside. Somebody's going to say this team is going to have plenty of garbage time production. This guy could have 50 yards at halftime and finish the game with 120.
Listen, you saw what Robinson did. Okay, this kid's got even more talent than Robinson. So if Robinson can do it, and he's a better receiver, and he's quicker, this guy is the real deal. That's not I'm not going to do it because I know I could get him later.
That's right.
Yeah.
Around grade, I was.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm just saying.
It's different leagues.
No, I agree. I agree with you. Make the case, Doc. If it's going to be a high stakes thing, you taking a chance. It's almost like a GPP type of thing, but just season long.
Right. Nobody's playing for 2nd place in a high stakes league. You're playing for the money, right? So I'll give you another guy, James Cook, ETN. These are guys that have significant upside that people take the shot on. All right, let's talk about a team with maybe a little less upside, except for one guy, the Tennessee Titans. You've got Ryan Tannehill, just play Tannehill. You got Derrick Henry, the king. But A.J. Brown, guys, not there anymore. Treylon Burks is a high upside type of player who comes in with Bobby Trees, little Robert Woods. Austin Hooper is there now. Swami, do you look at the Titans and say this team can be 1st or 2nd in the AFC like they were last year?
No. I just think they didn't get better. I think King Henry is there. I just don't know how many years they can keep relying on him to be up there, almost leading the league in carries. We just saw him get injured. We're starting to see some wear. There's a little tread on the tires now, and so they needed to take advantage of this opportunity, try to keep the team together, add a piece to it, like I thought they were trying to do with Julio. Once you basically let everybody go except Julio, I'm sorry, everybody go except for King Henry. I just don't think that they're going to be able to build on what they did last year. I think the Colts might catch up to them. I know we haven't talked to them yet. And I think the Jaguars are going to win a couple more games in the division. So I think they might take a step back. I still got them probably around 9 wins, but I think they're going to take a step back.
Willie, what about you?
See, they got a couple of things they're going to be going uphill on. One is going to be, number one, the quarterback. Remember, he has some mental health issues that we're not talking about. And we know in the military community, and mental health is a big part of it. I mean, remember Kevin Love, there are different major athletes that have mental health issues that needs to be treated. And he really, when he lost that game, he suffered emotionally when he lost that game because they should have been in the Super Bowl, so, and they had the type of team that could have been there last year. So I think, plus they drafted Malik Willis, a quarterback that has a lot of talent. Yeah, it has. So I think mentally, I don't know if Tannehill could get back where he was, to be honest with you. Now,
Willis is not ready though, Willie. He's just
I know it's not. Agreed. But what I'm just saying is, just think about it. They drafted a quarterback. He might feel pressured. When mentally you're not right, Doc, that affects you. That affects your game. Agreed. You understand what I'm saying? You're pressed.
Even if he was healthy, Willie, and I know that's a big if. All of the big plays came from Brown. Who scared you?
Listen, got it, bro. But what I'm saying is, it all starts with the quarterback. And if you take even though this Brooks guy, he's got some talent. Okay, now let's not poo-poo him, but agreed. And now I'm gonna tell you the most interesting guy is really Henry, because even though most people are down on Henry, you got to remember before that rascal got hurt, he had 4
legendary.
Right, he had 4. He was a top 4 scorer in 4 of the 8 games that he played, and he has 47 and 36 points. Upside that no back is close to when he does it. You understand what I'm saying? And I saw the workouts that this rascal is doing now, uphill workouts, crazy type of workouts that he's doing. So he might be a guy that you could get later that everybody's down on that still can produce some fantasy value.
How late you think he?
Look, let me ask you this question: Can Burks be 80% of Brown? Brown last year
he was hurt a lot.
63 catches, 869 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Are you telling me that Burks can't give me 58 catches, 5 touchdowns, and 800 yards?
No, remember, see what Swame is not taking in consideration. Brown missed a lot of time last year.
A lot.
He had a lot. So
it's the time he played. I get what he.
Yeah, but it don't matter. What did Bill Parcells say? If you can't,
the best ability is availability.
Hey, listen. All right. The rascal was not available. Okay, he was available in the champion in the AFC, but he was not available. Those stats, for as much money as he made, that's why they want to pay him. They said, "This you bastard, how are we going to pay a part-time player?" You understand what I'm saying? So even though his talent is immense, but what I'm saying is this Traylon Burks guy got some talent too. He really do. He got some, his, and I'm gonna tell you, his physical skill set is something like a TO. When he catches the ball, That's why they got the ball in his hand. If you watch this tape.
T.O.
No, what I'm saying, the people they know about T.O.E., he didn't know about T.O. either. So what I'm saying is, this is the type of talent that this guy has, is they throw him the ball, gets the ball in his hand. I mean, you see what Debo does. Where was Debo? Where was Debo? I'm asking you a question. Where was Debo? Where was Debo? Where was Debo?
But I do think it comes down to, guys, is Tannehill. It does. Because, look, they can't get rid of him. They are paying him so much money. He has to finish this year. If he is not locked in, and I'm not sure he is, I think that was a crushing loss. I mean, there were a lot of issues there. And I think this feels like a 10-win team to me.
Well, but yeah, and that's why I said. But let me tell you this: they got this tight end called Chiguzal Awabu or whatever his name is.
All right, don't hurt yourself. Austin Hooper's a starter there.
No, I got you, but I'm just telling you, Hooper. I know he's the guy, but I'm telling you, they drafted this guy as a Vernon Davis type guy.
Oh my God, Vernon Davis!
I'm just telling you, Doc. What I'm saying is, look at this guy. This guy's a specimen. And I mean, he might. I'm just saying. Listen, Austin Hooper is like an old tire. You know, you say, well, he will get us there. But
I read a great thing about Vernon Davis actually yesterday. Vernon Davis, you guys know that he ran a 4.3, but when he played the game, it looked like a 4.8. You know how some guys look slower when they play? Vernon Davis looked slower than he actually was.
Well, some players were faster than he actually was. You remember Jerry Rice? He ran when he had the pads on, it looked like he was 4.2. For some reason, you know.
Swame too. Swame's like a 4.2 in pass.
Anquan Bolden? No, I'm like a 5.2.
He like a 5'9" and everything.
Anquan Bolden was faster with pads on for sure.
I think they clocked him like a 4.6 or 4.7. That Joker looked like he was a 4.3 out there.
Yeah.
4.4.
Legit. All right, last team in this division. I think it's the best team by far. I don't even think it's close. The only problem I have with this is that they lost their defensive coordinator, who goes and he's now the head coach in Chicago. I don't know if that plays a big role in it or not. But Carson Wentz was the ultimate train wreck. You bring in Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's arm probably is getting a little shot, but you bring in Alec Pierce to be another receiver. Jonathan Taylor's still there. You have Hines there. You got a great offensive line. You got great linebackers. Swami, this feels like the class of the AFC South.
Yeah, it's their division to win or lose. Right now, I got them around 11 wins, and I think that'll be enough to win the division. If they can get one more, they can get, third seed or something like that going into the playoffs, which will really help them out. I think getting Matt Ryan there to help them out is going to be huge. He's going to be able to manage the game. He's going to be able to, when the team is down and the game is close, he's somebody that can have some confidence that he can win you a ball game, go down late, get a field goal, touchdown, and win a game. And so I just think it's going to change the offense, the energy, and the way that I think that they're going to approach their game planning, game calling with Matt Ryan versus the situation they had last year. So I think they took a step forward. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I think they specifically went to address some of the holes that they had, and the big one was at quarterback. So I think the Colts have some fantasy goodness, obviously Taylor, but I'm kind of curious to what we might get from Pierce, and I'm also I think we might see our guy take a step forward this year, because last year he had some flashes. Everybody was getting excited about him. Every now and then T.Y. Hilton or that other guy they let go, they were sneaking there. We couldn't figure out who was going to be that guy in the slot or that third guy. But I think this year might be his team. So I think I'm expecting some fantasy goodness to come from the Colts. I'm not really sure where I'm going to take anybody other than Taylor, who's a surefire no-brainer.
You're going to take Michael Pittman.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's his team now. So I'm just not really sure where I would want to take Pittman, because I don't know how or who Matt is going to develop that relationship with. He does still like to kind of work the slot and over the middle. And if Pittman is on the outside, unless he's, really getting a lot of balls, meaning 8 to 10 targets a game. I gotta see some preseason, Doc, before I can say that.
But they move Pippen. They move Pippen around though. He just doesn't stay on the outside. They move him. But let me say this: anytime you have 129 targets in a run-based offense like they had, and he caught 89 passes and 6 touchdowns and over 1,082 yards with the worst quarterback with Carson Wentz. I'm gonna tell you something. That showed me something right there with that rascal. And then you got Taylor, 2,171 yards total, 40 catches. I mean, this guy, 20 touchdowns. 20 touchdowns. I mean, just think about it. But see, what I like is I do like Pierce. They also got this project, this tight end called, his name is Jelani Woods. Yeah, who, listen, upside dude. They also got a guy they have better on the offensive line. They got a guy from Central Michigan, Bernard Raymond. They say he's going to be their starting tackle. So the Colts did a good job in the draft.
They always do a good job in the draft. They always draft well.
And then the last guy is they got this guy from Maryland. His name is Nick Cross. Safety. He can play any position. This guy's gonna be a player. So listen, and the Colts defense was already good. So just think about it. Now they got a quarterback who's got it up here compared to that other dum-dum that was a quarterback. And I'm just telling you, they are going to be. And remember, Matt Ryan, honestly, just think about what happened to him last year when he lost his receivers. He lost Julio. He lost his receiver. He didn't have any receivers. His offensive line. Lost Willie. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. The mental health issues. His offensive line was putrid. I mean, listen, he's going to feel like he was let out of jail. Going to the Colts. And listen, I think 13 wins can be in their future this year. With their division, I mean, heck. I mean, honestly, I think they're going to swoop their division. You know what I mean? And
all right, let me ask you this question. Is Jonathan Taylor the number 1 player in fantasy football? Swame, yes or no?
I can't argue with it right now. Yes.
Willie, number 1, yes or no?
Yes, because Matt Ryan likes to use his running backs, and he's going to pepper them with. Listen, I think they found out. Listen, this guy is explosive. You get the ball in his hand any way possible. He has great hands. Nothing wrong with his hands. And they got rid of the guy who. I'm just telling you, love Jonathan Taylor this year.
He's great. All right, AFC South in the books. What are we doing next week? Maybe a little NFC North, gentlemen.
Yeah, so let's go to the division. Yeah, let's go to the North.
Let's go to the North.
Yeah.
All right. For Doc, Willie, and Swami, be well and
take care. And it's good.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drrodo.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.